Hey, welcome back to the series. We have seen how to install Node.js and how to get started with Vue-based web application with Vite tool in the previous episodes. So in this episode, we are going to create our first Vue.js component. So in single page applications, everything can be divided into a component. So that means any single page applications can have thousands and thousands of components. Some components are very big, some components are very small, and some are dumb components, some are presentational components, some are smart components. Some components can talk to state or APIs. So it's basically your entire application can be divided into thousands of components. And also we need to understand how you can structure your Vue.js application. So Vue.js applications can be structured in any way because it is not opinionated framework. So it can be, your whole application can be divided into multiple pages or modules, and these modules can be divided into multiple components. So everything is a component, but you can name the folders pages or modules, and you can put some components as pages or modules in that way. And also you can name a folder called components, and you can put components under that particular folder. So basically the way you structure your application, it entirely depends on you, or it entirely depends on your team. So because it is not opinionated framework. So as you see in this picture, the application can be divided into pages and modules. So the page component can be a smart component. It can talk to APIs, or it can talk to the state. If you are using Pinia state management library, or whatever, any other library. So these page components can talk to that library, and these page components can pass data to presentational components like C1, C2, C3 here. So how you structure your application in Vue.js is entirely up to you, is entirely up to your team. So basically the point here is it is not opinionated framework. Okay, we are done with the theory. We need to get into the actual code right now. So our application is running on port 5173 when you run the command npm run dev. Let's copy this and put it in the browser. So the application is running right now, and we have all this code that is generated by Vite tool. Let's remove all this. So main.js is the main entry, and app.vue is the first component file we need to look at. So let's remove all this code, and also remove all the unused import statements. Now we have removed all the unnecessary code. Let's see whether the application runs or not. Okay, so let's remove these components as well. Let's see whether the application runs or not. So the application is not running. So we have some components. Okay, so we have views folder here, which is not being used right now. Let's remove this views folder as well. We still have some errors. So go to the router. So in the router we have used those views. So we need to empty this routes folder, or empty the routes array, and then remove all the imported views. So now the application is running fine now. So we have removed all the unnecessary components or unnecessary code. Now let's create a component called hello world.view. So let's copy. We have three main things when you write a component. So script, template, and the style. These three are main. So whenever you create a component, these three things you have to put it. It doesn't have to be. Those three things doesn't have to be in the component, but if you are writing HTML, if you are writing logic, if you are writing CSS, you need this. So all the HTML goes under template, all the CSS goes under style, and all the logic goes under script. So I'm going to create a small component called hello world, so which displays hello world text. So since we are inserting HTML, we need to put that under template. So I created a h1 tag with hello world text, and this is our first component, hello world. Let's import this hello world component into our app.vue. So the import statement goes inside script tag. Now you need to use that component inside template and save it, and let's see whether how it appears on the browser. Yep, it appears on the browser. So that is our first component in Vue.js. So now we know HTML goes under template. So let us test how script tag works. So you can put any JavaScript under script. So let's see. Let's put console statements and see how it works. So I'm going to put one console statement in hello world.vue and another console statement in app.vue. I'm going to save these two files and run the application and see how it actually appears in the console statement. Yep, when you load the application, you can actually see those console statements in the browser console. So we have created our first Vue component. So let's create another component which takes the properties. So I'm going to create another called message. So this Vue component will take the message as a property, input property. Copy the whole thing from hello world.vue to message.vue and remove the console statement. So since it is taking as message as a property, you need to do that with the define props. So let's define the message as a variable name and the type as string, and also we need to mention whether it is required or not. Since this property needs that message to display the text, I'm going to put this as a required true. So copy the message and use it in the HTML under the template tag. Now we are done with the message component. Import the message component into hello world.vue, and we need to use this message component in place of hello world text. As it takes message as an input property, you can give any value to this here. So I'm going to give welcome to your first Vue component. Okay, let's save this file and run the application. Okay, so I think something is not translated well. Let's go to message.vue Okay, I think it should be double curly braces instead of single curly braces. So let's change it, and okay, now it's working fine. It's time to put some styles into our components. So this, all the styles under style in the app.vue component is generated with the Vite tool. So let's remove all the styles. So we need to understand where to change the CSS so that it affects the actual application. So right now it is not affecting. So I think we need to see where exactly the styles are coming from. So go to the main.js. So here, main.css. In the main.css we have all the styles defined. So let's go to body and let's change something. So I'm going to remove whatever there and put some margin 3%, and I'm going to see whether it affects or not. Yes, it is affecting. So that means all the base styles are coming from here, main.css and base.css. So I'm going to change some background color and the color of the text. So remove the background color. Now the background color is removed, and the text, since the text is white, it is not appearing right. So I'm going to remove the color as well. Now it looks good. Now let's go to our hello world component and let's add some box styling here. So we have a div and we can add class called box to this div, and you can define that class, CSS class, under style. So since it's a box, I'm going to put some background color, some padding and some margin, and see how it works. Now it looks good. So we have a box with green background. So let's I think we have a hello world component with box styling. So let's copy this hello world component and replicate this 4 times and see how it looks in the browser. Okay, now you can see 4 components. So it's basically the component works as if it's HTML tag.